धागे न तिनक धिन 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 धागे न तिनक धिन.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morid and porridge. Kids get their money off on it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the goods. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a flash from the past. We on the smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sharing no haka from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
appreciate everybody for pulling up. All our Patreon members, all our subscribers, people just here for the first time. It don't matter what brought you here. Internet junk has been storming out here. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me and see me. Appreciate y'all for being here. Hit the like button once again. Storming in my area. Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me in the chat. And let me know if we amongst these y'all beautiful people today before we get it started. Today we taking it. The lecture gonna be about Virginia today. And every one of these states has significance, so we don't want to make people feel like if we haven't got to your state yet, best believe we're trying to cover everything prior to the Civil War. We're really interested in those states right now because, I played a major role into the formation of what we know today, right? So Virginia obviously plays a major role. Okay, everybody said they can appreciate that. 24K minds. There go my partner right there from Canada, man. Shout out, man. You said you was gonna keep tapping in with us, and you've been consistent. Appreciate that love. Everybody coming in, please help us in the algorithm by hitting the like button. We are independent media. Everything we do is self-funded. We ain't got nobody telling us what to do. That's how we are autonomous. You feel me? So with that being said, though, there's a couple things been on my mind, man, that I've been researching. And unfortunately, certain things we got to cover because we know our people is caught into a matrix of certain events. And we, in order to cover news and media appropriately, we got to speak on it. We got to cover, right? So right now, unless you've been hiding under a rock and you in America, I'm sure you've heard about the young brother Nolan Wells, whose life, he lost his life. Condolences to his family. Anytime a young life is lost, it is a tragedy because a lot was left on the table, right? But one thing, ever since I got into covering the news, speaking about history, just being involved with the Autonomous Party, period, the number one thing that not only we pride ourselves on, but me especially, since I'm one of the ones that come in front of the camera representing the party, is to be unbiased and to offer an autonomous perspective based on the information available to us. Because one thing about it is we can only go off of what we have available to us. Just like historians, we know this to be true. We can have our opinions based around certain facts and string things together, but we can't say with a certain level of certainty on certain things because we know that everything does not have a source to be able to prove is truth. But one thing that I do want to say, and I want to make it clear why it's important to all people, but especially people that look like me. And no disrespect to any white folks who watch this, but you got to understand that, and I'm sure you may agree, that people that look like me have to reach others that look like us. Nobody's doing this for us, so it needs to be us. So that's where the majority of my time is going to be spent. However, there are ways that we can work together because history is history. So you guys are involved as well as our Asians, our West Coast Native brothers. We don't discriminate as long as you ain't taking away what it is that we know to be true. And if you do have a disagreement, there's ways for us to handle that civilly via debate. But back to Nolan Wells and disagreeing and Black issues, right? So y'all know I was one of the ones, I covered Carmelo Anthony. And, a lot of people didn't know how to take that because they feel like through brainwashing and propaganda that anytime a situation happens, it has to automatically go to Black versus white. And if you Black, you need to take up for Black, whether they right or wrong, and then the same for white, which is equally as ignorant no matter what color your skin is if you defending somebody who did as wrong, right? But so just like in normal fashion, the way these folks play on us, we have another tragic situation that has been broadcasted to the masses. So this is not my opinion. The family of Nolan Wells has taken this story and hit primetime news to get this story out. Now, obviously, I want them to be able to get justice, get answers, and have closure for this tragic situation. However, I would be lying to y'all if I said that the way in which they've been going about getting this justice and getting the answers, I can't say that I agree with it based on what I know about the track record of the people involved. So I'm gonna play this quick video, and then I'm gonna, elaborate more into what I mean. But once again, this is only being impartial and talking about what we know to be true today, which is not a lot. So the fact that I just want to point out some contradictions, well, not even that, not point out contradictions. I want to show you guys this pattern on how these so-called black, well, not so-called, these black celebrities and black news outlets pimp the pain of other black people for their own profit, whether there's any real merit to what they saying or not. They don't care, right? Because the view, they getting paid for the views regardless. You've seen a lot of them folks who was standing on all 10 about Carmelo Anthony and saying all of this stuff was made up when the video came out and the case went the way it went with the trial. Man, them folks, they never retract their statements. They ain't never come and correct the bullshit that they was lying about. They don't have different evidence than me or you have. Trust me, I'm very diligent in getting mine. And they don't have other sources that me, myself, can't find. They went in the courtroom. They can only go by the people that was there. The fact that they would go to great lengths to be able to trick people, y'all have no idea. I'm just keeping it real. So just for y'all who may not know, let's go over here and give you a little breakdown of what's been happening. And then I want to point out something that's very, something that we need to pay attention to, because I'm going to follow it all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But check this out, and then we're going to come and talk about it. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all for being here in Sunday service. The lecture today is going to be about Virginia. Right now, we covering what the streets saying, man. It's a little bit of political talk. So check this out.
This does not smell right. One of them is telling the truth. One of them is not.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump standing with the family of Nolan Wells today, demanding a full investigation into the death of the 18-year-old college football player whose body was found on Mississippi's Horn Island. As the family awaits the results of an independent autopsy, new questions are being raised about what really happened to Nolan Wells. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Big update in the Nolan Wells story. This is something we've been following. There is a major press conference that was just held. And this is the story of that 18-year-old Southwest Mississippi Community College football player, graduate of Ocean Springs High, who disappeared while boating with friends on Horn Island. This is right off the coast of Mississippi. It's back on the July 4th weekend. We know that his body was tragically found that Monday on the island, washed ashore. His family is demanding transparency. They're demanding a full investigation. In fact, Christine and Elmore Wansley told Good Morning America, GMA, in an interview today, we just want honesty and transparency. We want a thorough investigation. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else, and that's it. We just want answers. And they have even retained prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump. We did a sidebar yesterday explaining why they would want to hire a lawyer at this time. It's about ensuring that they get the information they're seeking, potentially assessing a legal issue for a lawsuit, pressuring authorities to be transparent about the investigation, ordering an independent autopsy. In fact, Ben Crump told ABC News Live this week that Nolan's body would be flown to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy. This came after the Mississippi State Medical Examiner already apparently performed an autopsy, but that agency indicated that the results could take weeks because of toxicology tests. Those findings are pending. Now, there is something to keep in mind here. Authorities reportedly believe this was a tragic accident, that this was a case of drowning. According to the New York Post, John Ledbetter, the Jackson County Sheriff, said, "There's no information that we have right now that would lead us to believe that a crime has occurred." According to CNN, Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lind indicated there were no immediate signs of physical injury. But this is a story that has gotten a lot of attention. It has sparked many thoughts, many theories, particularly given what we're learning. For instance, according to CNN, Nolan didn't return to the dock with his friends that day. His family didn't understand why he would separate from them, that he was supposed to take a different boat back, but didn't, that Nolan apparently didn't have his cell phone with him, that there were reports of an alleged altercation that day. We know the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is reportedly still investigating all of this. But according to the sheriff, one of Nolan's friends contacted the Coast Guard on the night of July 4th at around 11 p.m. Nolan's mom apparently called the sheriff's office leading into July 5th. And the family has concerns about, for example, why Nolan would stay without friends. Christine telling GMA, quote, "That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would." Elmore saying, "We always told him, if you go with a group, you stay with a group." There's also this. Christine apparently told GMA that they tracked Nolan's phone using the Life 360 app. They were able to get his phone through his friends, and she claims that some texts and messages were deleted. And apparently it was actually specifically in reference to Snapchat. Now, one of the things that authorities are apparently WXXV right now, I know time is of the essence. WAPT, I would urge anyone that has information or that was on the island to take down as much information as they can to piece together what happened. I say all that to tell you what happened today. There's a grieving family. They have a lot of questions. They want answers. What happened today? Major press conference was held in Harlem. You had the family, their attorney, Ben Crump, and Reverend Al Sharpton, all demanding the same things: transparency, answers, and the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells. So if you've been following this, you know there's been a lot of anticipation to this. We were expecting the family to potentially announce the results of that independent autopsy that was conducted. And again, this is separate from the state's medical examination. So it seems by all accounts, Nolan's body was flown to Washington, D.C. Now, we didn't get the results of that independent autopsy because there was reporting that we may get those today, but we did get something. Maybe not what everyone expected, but Reverend Al Sharpton kicked things off, and he was getting straight to the point.
What we've been told does not make sense. And being that there is lack of confidence in the local authorities, who have already, in my judgment, seemed to have mishandled where it was going, because to just immediately, before a week time, saying there was nothing done wrong, when we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape, that his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away.
Now we go to Ben Crump, and he claims the stories about what happened to Nolan just doesn't match.
The glaring contradictions just jump out at you. The fact that he is there with his friends, and you look at all the videos, it seems to be he's the only Black on the island, or maybe one other, but not many. And so, Jared, you have where a young woman he was talking to says that, well, Nolan said he was going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. It's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. And then the fact, Reverend Al, that they have this video of an argument that is going on. And you know, thank God, all young people, they have cell phones, and anytime you hear people raising their voice, they start the video. And so you hear on the video, Nolan saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" And that becomes even more relevant when you think about the story that they are presenting, that Nolan chose to stay behind. That's what they're saying.
And he also brought up something that makes you stop and think. Nolan's phone.
His phone, he wouldn't take that with him if he's going to stay behind on the island. I mean, we're talking about an 18-year-old kid. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone? And so it's not adding up. It's not adding up at all. The fact, as Reverend Al said, you know, they didn't take his phone with them. His mother, when she finds out that her baby is missing, they start trying to track the phone, the GPS the phone. They've used Life 360, and they discover that, well, the phone is on land. The phone is on land, but you're saying he went missing on the island. And so it's not adding up.
From there, we heard from Christine, Nolan's mom, talked about what happened when she finally got her hands on that phone.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular with the children. And when we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning, only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed. Hey, Ma, come on, take a picture of me. You know, like he just, that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted.
And here's one of the biggest questions of all. More than 200 people were reportedly on that island. Boats everywhere. Anyone see anything?
This notion that, well...
So y'all got a synopsis. I want to, once again, we're making sure that you can't take nobody's word for this. Hear what these people got to say. So since this happened July the 4th, is when whatever happened to Nolan Wells, this is the day that it happened. They found him on the 6th of July. So today, as we're together right now, is July 12th. So between the 6th and the 12th, 6 days, they done been on Good Morning America. They went to New York City. This happened in Mississippi. They went to New York City to Good Morning America. National Action Network is what we was just watching. Okay, with Al Sharpton. They did another live stream with Roland Martin. So hear these names that I'm saying. Okay, Ricky Smiley didn't already spoke out about this. The same usual characters is already instantly so worried about Nolan Wells. Okay, so I'm not trying to put any negative light on the family, but when you bring things to the public, you made this a public. I'm assuming they're going to the public for support or to shine more light on the case. So clearly they want people talking about it, right? So let's talk about it. So definitely something ain't right. Young boy, they say he can swim. You go out there with a whole bunch of people. You the only one end up missing out of all the other hundreds of people. Definitely something ain't right. No, I'm with them all the way on why they would want to question it. Now, mind you, they ain't no outsiders from Mississippi. They from Mississippi. The boys, the judge. Okay, so one of the white boys' mama is a judge. That's his stepmama. She a judge. That's true. That wasn't just no rumor. So she come out on social media and explain why they deleted their social media. She said, hey, look, man, we got a lot of people hitting us up, talking crazy. Like I got I think she said 4, 5 kids. They got multiple kids. And they're like, man, we ain't trying to get them to be docs. They ain't got nothing to do with none of this. Like we wishing the best and hope that Nolan and whatever happened to him and he get, justice. I can't remember the exact words. Go look at her name, Ashley Cole, on Facebook. She did put out a statement. All right. So, and it makes sense. If the roles was reversed and it was a bunch of black boys and a white boy, this happened, definitely I would say to them, not being on social media is definitely smart. Like, come on, bro, let's keep it real. All right, so now all this is going on. So mind you, ain't no autopsy came back yet from either the state or the private one that the family is doing. And once again, I got no problem with that. If you feel like them folks alive, hey, do your own. But my whole thing is her family has got to be well esteemed, because that lady who's a judge, she say she went to school with Nolan Wells' mama. They from the same community. She made sure to say that. So it ain't like she on a trip from Chicago and the family was just there. No. They been grew up around these boys. And clearly Nolan was well liked. So it ain't no little kid getting picked on and all that. Like, nah, we got to cut that out. It ain't nobody even alluding to that. And you can tell just by his stature. If you looked at the pictures, he bigger than everybody as far as height go. You feel me? So the athletic. So I believe, okay, well, damn, if he did get knocked in the water, they say he can swim. So how that don't make sense to me either, right? But the people you need to put the pressure on is the local police. If you go and alienate them right out the dump and say that you know for a fact they're gonna do something shady, then I mean, you think they more willing to work with you and give you the information? You just blew somebody up about their job. Unless something egregious has happened and there's a reason why y'all taking it, and I've never heard them say what that is. They main gripe is that they said there's no foul play yet. But how could they say it's foul play if he ain't beat up? Because if he was physically beat or something, and y'all saying that, because they never mentioned this. Like, you feel me? Help us, help y'all. You can't just say we don't trust these folks, but you sent your son to school with these people. He been hanging with them. There wasn't no issues beforehand. And he just so happened to be around a majority group of white people. But he in Mississippi, bro. Black folks everywhere. That's why they showing his black friends now. He was well liked by everybody is what it looked like. You feel me? So I could see that they devastating. I understand that. But we also got to keep it real. Like, hold on. Why is they all of a sudden going against Mississippi? If you never lived in Mississippi or Louisiana, you wouldn't understand. Alabama, these places, y'all think it's like the movies. It's not like that for real. Obviously, there is racist people that exist, but your average, everyday, especially these young kids, they ain't on that. You know what I'm saying? They in a whole different type of time. But the point of the matter is this. In the moment of tragedy, the last people that you need to go get with is Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. Because we got the benefit of being able to be revisionists and see the things that they was attached to. They are very great at getting you publicity and getting a civil suit. Real good at that. But actually solving the problem or getting to the matter of what they would say justice, and justice for who, man, they ain't so good at that. Because my thing is the hypocrisy behind this, which is they can't wait to rally up when it's a racial situation that they can frame and get a check off of. But on the average, because it's black folks right now who come in with this old tired trope that, see, you just can't be safe around these white folks. Like, bro, let's be for real, bro. Add up everything you know about a black kid being with some white folks in the last 20 years. It don't even touch what it looked like when a black boy go around his black friends. If you from an urban area, we got to stop playing when we come to these situations. That does not mean that this young brother does not deserve justice. But for everybody to come and they had a think pieces about what we need to do against white people when the numbers is really, we look stupid making them type of conversations when just over the past week, I could tell you some real tragedies all over the country of black people, young, same ages as Nolan Wells. You feel me? So let's not play that game like because he was black is why whatever happened to him is what happened. Because there's no evidence leaning to any of that. These folks knew them folks well, and he trusted them to go out there in that water and spent the night with them the day before. Now, that does not mean the white boy did not do something nefarious to him. And the investigation and the pressure they put on them, I'm sure they'll be able to find out, and they need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, the same way it should happen to anybody else. You feel me? Because you don't take no life and not expect no consequences to come behind it. It's really just that simple. All right. But while everybody's garnering up so much attention and time to want to go see about Buddy, there's a lot of other things that we can see about that can help a lot of other boys that look like Nolan Wells that didn't have the opportunity that he had right here. So I'm just saying, bro, Everybody want to be so outraged. There's folks still leaving comments on the Carmelo Anthony video I did as if y'all this man lawyer the whole time. He was dead ass wrong. No matter how you want to explain it and how you want to feel. The point of matter of all this is to educate y'all that you're being played on with all of us. When these guys get together and they boast these racial things, Tyler Perry is already covering the funeral. Why is Al Sharpton going to be a part of these folks' funeral? He never met Nolan Wells a day in his life, but he officiating the young boy. That's a mockery, bro. I'm just saying. Like, what kind of sense do that make? So Kaepernick, they came in and paid for the autopsy. They got their crew of people who all have been paid handsomely to play the role, this racial role that they playing. But then they got the general public buying into this, where they'll go back and forth on social media for days. But there's really some of y'all out there who will wake up just to go and comment back what somebody said to you the day before, so you can get the last word in a Facebook comment as if you won something by doing it. Like you proved the case and prosecuted somebody through a comment, bro. Man, you don't sound crazy to y'all? And we got to beg y'all to worry about genealogy. Or let's go really build something. Let's just be on this tribe business. Nobody want to talk about none of that. We even got to entertain these topics just to get folks attracted to history. How about that part? So, hey, this Sunday, so we preaching and we going to keep it real, because rest in peace to Nolan Wells. But I can name you so many Nolan Wells that's happening all over the country every day. And ain't nobody giving them no press conference and trying to get no justice for them or fix the problem that come with that. And that affect way more black boys than a situation like this. I'm just keeping it real. So on some real stuff. So let's see what else is going on in the world, man. Once again, my condolences to Nolan Wells. I hope and pray that justice is served no matter in which form it comes and your family get closure. All right, so speaking of families getting closure, so I'm not sure if y'all been tracking, but the whole SAVE Act with Donald Trump, he's trying to make sure to keep this in the news by not wanting to help pass other legislation until the SAVE Act is addressed. So one of the people that was on his side with this, buddy Lindsey Graham. If you're not familiar, you know, one of the old heads that's been in politics for a very long time. So he just passed away. And so, you know, it's already conspiracy theories coming out. But they got a lot of weight to them, I ain't gonna lie. Check this out real quick.
Just days ago, the Iranian regime threw a parade where they hoisted up photos of people they wanted to see dead. Lindsey Graham was top of the list, with a target on his skull and blood splattered across his face. Lindsey Graham posted about this and said, "At least they used a good photo of me, judge me by my enemies." Good-humored till the last. 5 days later, Lindsey Graham would be dead. And Iranian TV is celebrating. Lindsey Graham is dead, she says. I congratulate the Iranian people on the death of Lindsey Graham, who has been sent to hell. Not very subtle. Neither is Iranian media. This account linked to Iran. It's based in Iran, actually. It's Lego Resistance Iranian Front. You can see here that it is based in Iran, and then you can actually go ahead and verify and check. And they're posting, well, I don't know if it's revenge porn or what, but they're posting this video of Lindsey Graham getting killed by the Iranians. This video is called Sudden Death and says, who's next? It is strange what happened to Lindsey Graham. I don't know if it was the Iranians. Sure seems to be a lot of celebrating over there. I don't know if it's the Russians. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just a severe heart attack. But everybody who's saying this seems a little strange and the timing of it seems off is correct. The FBI has announced that they are assisting police after Lindsey Graham's mysterious death because, well, his family says that it was a brief and sudden illness. The first responder said it was a cardiac arrest and that Lindsey Graham, they had to break into his house, bulldoze his door, and pull him out 30 minutes after a cardiac arrest, which means that Lindsey Graham would have already been dead. It's very strange because Lindsey Graham was just on camera for hours in Ukraine. This is a very tiring trip to go all the way to Ukraine and then to do multiple press conferences. You can see them. He was booked on TV this morning. These are not the actions of an unhealthy person. It's very, very hard to do these kind of like bilateral meetings all day in time zones that are like 7 hours different from where you live. And Lindsey Graham did it all on camera. Here he is asking questions of Zelensky, doing full press conferences in Ukraine. Look at this. He did this for hours, being in front of the cameras. Look at all the microphones. Lindsey Graham working on legislation, sanction packages, and so on against the Russians. And so everyone's saying it's like extremely odd, the circumstances. So I hope, listen, all I hope is that we get like a very thorough autopsy and toxicology report. Okay. But if you're talking about one man who has probably the most enemies in the entire Senate, it's most likely Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is a warmonger. He is a neocon. He is somebody who's like made very, very brutal statements about the American empire and war-making power and has made a lot of enemies. And everybody knows that he's one of President Trump's best friends and is probably very much a whisperer in Donald Trump's ear about who we should invade next. People know that that's Lindsey Graham's MO. So apparently the FBI showed up at Lindsey's house. So following through on that whole investigative promise, again, this was Lindsey Graham 48 hours ago. These are very heavy, these style drones. Like weak men or men that are extremely ill can't do that. Lindsey Graham is walking. Most of the people in the Senate can't walk. Compared to his colleagues, Lindsey Graham is spry. But now with Lindsey Graham out and Mitch McConnell, who knows where Mitch McConnell is, the Senate is down to a operational 51 votes, which means the Senate is at a pure standstill.
Hey, so let me see how to say this. So why is this important? Throughout history, let's talk about the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, the whole Reconstruction era. The reason why such legislation that changed the way the country ran up until this point is because of the Senate was technically invaded and was able to pass certain things that they normally wouldn't do because of extenuating circumstances. So now these circumstances is starting to pop up again to this point right here. We don't know what we seeing right now. Political theater that has happened. We don't know what's real or what's fake, but we know what they putting out and letting us to consume. And whatever it is that they got cooking, it's something serious. You got to know it because, like bro said, this one of Trump people that he actually rock with in the Senate. You already know, whether you believe it or not, what they told us is it's been attempts on Trump's life that we've seen the videos for, right? And they was trying to put it to Iran, which is the same people that into it with now, the same ones who just claiming this. This could all be propaganda as part of the political theater, but all we do know is real spots is being taken away or being manipulated within the Senate. And this SAVE Act is one of the main things Trump's standing on because he knows that without this, and it's just the truth of the matter, whether you believe in this stuff or not, it is a fact because we just witnessed the immigration happening. Us as historians understand the game is about immigration now. The more people they can get with a social security number into this system, the more powerful the system becomes. So that's why they want this to be. Why you think the World Cup here? This is marketing and advertising for new citizens to come sign up and be a part of this American empire. They feed off of new growth from others who gonna do as they say. They cool with paying their taxes. They cool with all that. They ain't gonna question nothing. They ain't got no ties to this land. But those of us who do, we ain't even paying attention to the play. So this is what they say going on, man. What the white folks talking about, but it's going crazy. You see what we talking about with racial issues and, you know, whatever. But the best thing you can do, bro, is get yourself in a mind state to where you can view things autonomously without your feelings and your emotions involved, just straight logic and research, because this what this is. The feelings don't come with it. There's something completely different and separate. You feel me? So you already know, man, America is very powerful, man. And we sitting here letting them get off the hook for things that we could prove, but we so anti-American and going away from our real roots that we playing ourselves. But that's what we own today, right? Taking it to Virginia. Mac done cooked up a special when we was talking about it. I don't think y'all really gonna enjoy it. And if you haven't, go check out the other series. We done broke down several other states, you know what I'm saying? Everything prior to the Civil War, letting folks understand what it really looked like on this side before they changed the game, right? So, hey, we gonna take it over here to the Gullah Mass Choir. We're gonna let them talk to us, feed the soul real quick. Then we're gonna take it to Virginia and we're gonna get with Mac. But I think y'all gonna like this one. So yeah, we're gonna take it over there and then we'll be back, y'all. Tap in.
75% of Americans currently do not have an estate plan. So who needs it and why? If you're over 18 and you don't know the answer to one of these questions, then it's probably you. So adults, who can make healthcare decisions for you if something were to happen today? Do you have the right set of documents to make sure your loved ones can be present for you? Parents, do you have the right set of guardianship documents to make sure that your children can be under the care of someone that you trust and that knows them, that cares for them and has their best interests at heart? Homeowners, would your family face probate if something were to happen to you today? Would you not rather make sure they don't face the delays, cost, and public nature of this court process? If any of these apply to you, here at Trustee Friend, we have simple planning options, whether you opt for a guided by a friend, guided by a planner, or guided by attorney option, making estate planning simple, affordable, and accessible.
They changed our names, but the truth still lives.
Some say we came from far away. Some say we've always been right here. Two stories at the same doorway, both chasing what our hearts hold dear.
Old maps, new maps, who's to say? We just want the truth that they erase.
Two roads, one people,
still searching for the name they stole.
Baby, baby, two roads, one people,
still walking back to what we know.
Oh, we rise together, no matter which path we chose. No, 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 two roads, one people,
still coming home,
still coming home.
Someone unity to heal the pain, someone records to clear the lies. But either way we break the chains and lift the story they deny. Lineage, memory, same heartbeat, just different ways to find our feet.
One people,
Still searching for the name they stole. Oh, two roads,
one people,
still walking back to what we know.
oh, we rise
turned our nations into colors, but the truth kept living in our bones. Every step we take uncovers the road that leads us back home. One people still stand.
Grandmama said the water holds secrets. Papers change, but the soul still speaks. Everybody loud now, nobody rooted. Whole generation hurting, acting like it's music. Gold chain shining, but the eyes look tired. Everybody online, but the spirit unplugged. Mama kept photos inside the old Bible. Faces half faded, stories gone silent. Somebody crossed oceans, somebody crossed swamps. Somebody got renamed, still the bloodline strong. Yeah, keep it easy, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it easy. River water run deep in me. Smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey, keep it easy. Don't let them rename your soul. Keep it easy. Some things deeper than we told. Spanish moss hanging, heavy by the roadside. Church shoes tapping on the old wood floors. Women still humming songs without names. Now men still praying low behind closed doors. Maybe that's a Bible, maybe that's the proof. We forgot the story, but still carry the truth. Creole hands cooking straight from memory. Funny how the rhythm still live naturally. Hey, keep it easy, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it easy. River water run deep in me. Yeah, smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey, keep it easy. Don't let them rename your soul. Keep it easy. Some things deeper than we told. The river still remember. Even if we don't pay, they changed the papers, couldn't kill the rhythm. Change the language, couldn't stop the feeling. I don't need permission to know who I am. I can feel the truth moving through the drum line. Every church clap, every back row, every old soul fishing by the tide flow. Maybe we ain't lost, maybe we just scatter pieces of a memory too strong to shatter. So I keep the candles lit, keep the choir strong, keep the old stories living in
Yep. Check. All right, we back in. Everybody tapped in. Hit the like button if you just coming in. Go on, tell a friend. Yeah, back there. Hey, so Mac already here. Let's get to it. Tap in.
Yeah. Tap in. Peace to the party. What they do, Monte?
Hey, bro, I'm good, man. Another Sunday.
Yeah, man. Well, you just went over though. Funny, when you see Crump and Al Sharpton pull up on something, you got suspicions just about that. That's crazy enough, right? That people got to say that. I have to laugh, but it's true. Like
they track record precede them.
There's something going on, right?
Oh yeah.
The whole thing's murky though. Again, though, the whole thing is like what happened with that particular situation. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's a lot of people getting unalive these days that we don't talk about at all. You know what I'm saying? So what makes one more important than the other? Interesting. I don't know. Someone dead. You know what I'm talking about? Yo, it's your boy, Mac 8 the G Mac. It's GMC, you heard me? Shout out to the GMC. It's like you said, it's Sunday service, y'all. We touching Virginia, but before we did that last week, if y'all watched the last week's show, it was something that I left out. So me, I catch that I left it out. I have to shift back real quick to make sure you get this right, because Philadelphia, and obviously going into Virginia, it was a case law in 1790, and I was going down this rabbit hole with all the stuff dealing with the state and everything, and I left out people like John Hancock, etc. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But at the same time, we I can't leave this out at all. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't mind, bro, pulling up Pennsylvania verse Blackamore. Yeah. So you see this name and being used. Funny enough, even with the first name too, right? You see that?
Yep.
Now
Abarella.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they got this whole situation set up though, just to show y'all Negro woman. See how it says Lydia, 2 Negro women whom she held as slaves. You see what I'm saying? So this is in 1790. You know what I mean? And you see other names inside of the last names, or Westmoreland and county of Westmoreland, but you see how Samuel Blackman is in there too. You know what I mean? So that's the last name they would say, right? A surname.
Yeah,
right?
Surname.
Right. So Blackamore as a surname, ain't that being used in this context of the I felt that was being that it's tied to Philadelphia, and we were talking about how Blackamore in the terms being used in colonial Philadelphia or Virginia as obviously as well. But Philly was covering Philly, so I thought that right near had to be put back out and shed light on. You heard me? And in that context, something else you can take it down. I just want to make sure we show them the case behind it. You know what I mean? I forgot.
Yeah. Let me put it in the chat real quick so people can go and get to it. Hold on.
Yeah, they got people using the term that they're being described as their last name is basically what we're showing you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that right
in America,
and that's in case law. So 1790. You know what I'm saying? First census taken when? 1790.
1790. Yeah.
You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
Feel me?
Yep.
So check this out. Next thing I gotta say is that did you guys know that we give a lot of credit to Jesse Jackson, just like how we got to talk about Al Sharpton and Ben Crump now, right? Jesse gets blamed for things, especially from the indigenous community, boy. Black folk that's on the indigenous shit, boy. They be blaming. Hey, I think. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No, I can't hear you. You say something?
Oh, you can't hear me? Yeah, no, I'm talking.
Is it me?
Probably.
I gotta go out and come back in. Probably you hear me.
Hold on, chat. Let me know what's up. Yeah, probably. Go ahead and chat. Let me know what's up, man. Let me get this on the screen real quick. Add that in. But yeah, y'all definitely go look into that case law, man. Run it through and read it over once. Get an understanding. Basically, just showing the surname being used in 1790, right when we know the census started. Yeah, they can hear us both. I appreciate you. Let me see if Matt came back yet. We live, y'all. You know how it go. Pop up. Let me get this next link set up. There you go. Tap in.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that be doing that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's connect to it. It's trying to connect to a different. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you.
Like, why is it blacking out? You know what I'm saying? It be blacking out. You know what I mean? Anyways, though.
Yeah, 'cause we can always hear you.
Right, but it's I can't hear you, and then like you play a video, maybe I get cut out. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, I don't know what that is. I'm still trying to figure it out, y'all. Okay, but how you know, we live. That's what happens. I forgot to say this too. The harsh reality is live life autonomous. I always got to say that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Mac Gaither once again. It's old. But what was that though is Jesse Jackson, right? I was talking about Jesse Jackson. So Jesse Jackson gets blamed for a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And he does get credit for some of the stuff too, you know what I'm saying? I think it maybe benefit in a black world of especially the term African, you know what I mean? Now he gets blamed for it, but as I was doing this Philadelphia thing, this lady came up, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a black woman too, y'all. At first I thought it was because her name, I thought it was a white lady at first, right? But it ain't even a white lady.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, damn it, that's some shit. God damn it, man, there's some shit. However, she got to get credit for coming up like, the word I came up with, you know what I mean? That I didn't know I should say that I'm giving y'all. It's called, or a phrase I should say even. See, I'm getting my English right. You know what I'm saying? My English right. Pre-proposed modifier. All right? Because this term African in front of American is a pre-proposed modifier. And I don't like how that sounds. You know what I'm talking about? I don't like how.
Why you modifying some shit? Why you modifying the American? American supposed to be American.
Right, like why is it that we got to be anything but the Americans? You know what I'm saying? Haitians, Trinidadians, Bahamians, everybody's just the one word. We got to have a pre-proposed modifier, right? So I want to give her credit for pre-proposing the term. You know what I'm saying? Because you might not know it was her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see it right there. Yep. Ramona Edelin. You know what I'm talking about? That's right. Look where he says. And we always say Jesse Jackson is right in front of our faces, this lady this whole time, right behind all that. You know what I'm saying? She's credited with introducing the term African American into general vernacular. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's that she has been named one of the most influential Black Americans by Ebony. You know,
I never heard of her before.
Never heard, bro. I promise you, I've never heard them people talk.
Think about that statement that you just said. The most influential Black American. She is one of the most. And if we went on the street and asked people, random Black people, they knew her name, they wouldn't, and I'd be one of them. I never heard of them.
We'd all said most people gonna tell you Jesse Jackson that's even conscious enough to even know that the term, you know, when the term came generally used, because most people are like, Jesse Jackson, African American, right? But it was her, and it was during the time frame when Jesse Jackson was running, and he took it and ran with it. Now he took it and ran with it, but he took.
They may have been working together.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So so you know, look what it says though. Look, it says Ellen testifying at the United States House Committee on Oversight and Reform in 2011. Like, this lady been doing a lot of stuff, you know, you know what I mean? She's in there, you know what I'm talking about? Like, she ain't no, you know what I'm saying? So she been doing some things, and people don't even talk about it like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought that right there was real interesting though before we got into it.
Damn, they over.
Huh? What happened?
We broke. Nah, that was on me to end it. You can hear me though?
Yeah, you know what happened? What broke?
Man, she was over this committee right here, Committee of Oversight and Government Reform, which is major because they touch everything. So put like that, if you create some policy for them, that changes the way all of government is ran, essentially. So DEI or any of them things could come because of oversight and now saying, hey, we need to look out for this certain term, this minority group now. Because that was the whole thing, right? When Jesse Jackson, they was running to get this nationalized. And that shit worked.
Hey, man. You can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? We don't, but no one, you know, we're doing a service though. It's one of them Sundays where we have to give you this type of information. Because I thought it was like, I didn't know who she was. So I'm just being honest with y'all. Philadelphia brought this out of me. You heard me? I didn't even know how it happened, but I was on a rabbit hole. And this when I came about, I'm like, this is right here. This lady right here. You know what I'm saying? I literally first like, it's a white lady. They don't let them tell us that it's a white lady that gave y'all the pre-proposed modifier. You see what I'm saying? But no, it's a Black woman. So I feel a little bit better about that part. But she's still wrong.
Bro, her mama. I think Miss Angela, or maybe it was Diana, somebody, bro. Yeah, because they was going into her people, bro. Go ahead, cook, bro. I'm sitting here going through the rabbit hole live.
Live, right. You know what I'm saying? She now look, you know what I'm saying? Again, her mother was first woman to earn a PhD in library science. You know what I'm talking about? So you know what I mean? So she's not one of them.
Columbia. This is a major school for women, especially this was a play through Columbia. Right. Yeah.
Come on now. You know, her family moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where she attended Oglethorpe. Ain't that something? And then you got the thing of I can't see the other part right there. You can move.
My bad. Hold on.
You good. But then it said, you know, obviously her family moved again to Illinois. We just covered Illinois a couple weeks ago. Obviously Massachusetts, we going there soon. And then schools and all that stuff right there. But she graduated in 1963. So it says though Etlin then attended Fisk University, receiving a Sarah McKim Malone Award in 1964, participating in honors program and placing the dean's list almost every semester. So she was highly, you know what I mean? She was up there. You know what I'm saying? She got Phi Beta Kappa. You know what I mean? She got all these things tied to her. You know what I'm saying? She was voted Miss Sophomore and Miss Alpha Phi Alpha. She also was selected to attend intensive course at Harvard University the summer before her senior year. So she's highly educated.
Oh yeah.
Highly educated. But now in 1967, she got married, all that good stuff. Boom. You know what I mean? But you know, she did something on who? W.E. Du Bois. You see that? Skipping down there.
Her dissertation
on W.E.B. Du Bois. You see what I'm saying?
We gotta go read that.
Yeah. Like what made her want to do a dissertation on him, ain't it? So
hold on 1 second, my bad. I go back. I'm tripping. Okay.
Yeah, like it's just interesting that, you know what I mean, her background and how she is behind the pre-proposed term African American. Look all the stuff she's doing. It said at Northwestern, she founded the first African American Studies program under the name
Northeastern.
At Northeastern. Excuse me if I said that wrong. Yeah, Northeastern. She founded the first African American Studies program under the name Black Studies in 1972 and became department chair when it launched as Afro-American Studies Department in 1973, and then changed names to African American Studies in 1975. This period is when she is also credited with introducing the term African American to the academic community. See that, y'all? 1975.
70s.
Yeah, we got a date when it really comes into play with school system, academic, and that's when it switched over. We start seeing them using this term African American all over the place. You know what I'm talking about? You're like, where it come from? Well, there you go. Ramona.
Damn, hold on, bro. This next part about her husband is crazy.
Yeah, separated from her husband, Kenneth Etlin, who was the first Black chief resident in obstetrics.
I don't know. Some gynecology
at Boston City Hospital. He was convicted of manslaughter that year by a Boston jury for legal abortion, which he had performed after Roe versus Wade. Wow.
That's crazy.
Right, that's crazy. The next year, the Massachusetts Supreme Court Judicial Court reversed the verdict. Ramona spoke out on her husband's behalf to the media and compared the city's racial violence towards Black children to their anti-abortion sentiments. She also criticized the Catholic Church stance on abortion law, since many of the jurors on the case were Catholics and men.
So she went on that feminist route.
Oh, I mean, women's bodies, her husband, her ex-husband getting hit with manslaughter for doing abortion.
For a legal, man, that's crazy for her to be tied to all this.
That rabbit hole, I ain't never know that part either. See that, y'all? We told y'all this is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then she went to the National Urban Coalition. You already know what they own. Vote blue, no matter who, and they own that African American back to Africa. That's what they own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's again to know who do what is the pre-proposed part I'm trying to give y'all. But I don't want no modifications on mine right now, okay?
You feel me?
Leave the modifications on the side. I like to season mine the own way, the autonomous way. You hear me? So, Yeah, that's that for that. Now we can go into Virginia now. So y'all, Virginia, y'all. All right. So, man, it's a lot in Virginia. It's like Philadelphia, y'all. You heard me? It's a lot. It's a complexity. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna give you the origins first before we go into the rest of it. All right, go ahead. So the Powhatan, right? Matter of fact, and obviously, I think I sent that the last source I sent you.
Yeah, I got it.
Up for that.
Was it encyclopedia?
Yeah, an encyclopedia showing the picture of Powhatan. You know what I mean?
Just tell me when.
Okay, so we're gonna go a little down and we're gonna pull it up in a minute for y'all. So Powhatan Confederacy, the Mononoke, Nottoway, the Paw Monkey, the Mattapony. Okay, these nations lived in the region for thousands of years before English colonization. Thousands of years. That's what they're saying. Thousands of years, y'all. So that's a long time. All right. That's
long time.
I don't know. 1,000 years sounds like a long time to me. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. That's the 1,000 AD or something like that they talking about easily. You know what I'm saying? Well, at 1492 or even in 1600s, that's going to take you back to 600 AD.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the timeline. All right, so we can slide down though. You know what I mean? Just you know, that's the nation that's in the place to be called Virginia. You know what I mean? They're the real Virginians. You heard me? So named by the English in honor of Queen Elizabeth. So you know where the name gets from because she was considered the Virgin Queen. You know what I mean? During the late 1500s. So it's, you know, it's got the name of the state. See, it's not a Virginia. It's not an indigenous name, obviously. And it's tied to the Virgin Queen in the English colony. You know what I mean? In this time frame, you know what I mean? They came over here. So we can slide down. The Virginia Company. All right, so before you do that, let's not go no further. Let's show them the Powhatan joint real quick, and then we come back to this. All right, boom. So just a little, you know, we got to get the indigenous people, they first on the land, so we can give them first dibs on understanding what happened here. Just a quick little overview, because I know a lot of y'all could go in at any time to read about all the details of it. Cool. Boom. So Powhatan was a given name, whose given name, was Wahun Seneca. That's how I'm pronouncing it. You know what I mean? I'm breaking it down. You heard me? Like,
close enough. Shit.
Yeah, even though it says was a paramount chief of another, what was it? The Tins Coma. Excuse me, let me try it again. Tinsin Komoka or Komoko. That's where I'm going with that too. Now, because see, I don't use these words every day. A political alliance of Virginia Indians. It's an alliance. They're politically confederated, right? We've been going over all the different confederacies in these areas, how they're governing themselves and their systems, right? So, whose core 6 groups all settled along the James, Mattapony, and Paw Monkey rivers. Introduced to the Jamestown colonists in 1607 as Powhatan, he was for a decade the most powerful point of contact for the English. You heard that? Like, point of contact, meaning they are having to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no choice but to deal with Powhatan and them. You know what I'm talking about? So, within this, obviously, 1614, the marriage of his daughter. See what I'm saying? So that's how you know it's a point of contact. They even did like a ceremony where, you know, his daughter was given, right? So see, that's where it says to John Rolfe. You know what I mean? Or Rolfe, or however y'all pronounce it, right? It says helped end at least temporarily years of war, which means that was like a thing they did to keep the war off the ground. Because they would get hit. Yeah, boy. You know what I'm talking about?
Treaty. That is a treaty.
That was a treaty move. See, that's, you know, I ain't giving my daughter to nobody though. I'm letting y'all know. It's not happening. But yeah. So Woonsock likely was raised much as any other Algonquin speaking. So you see, it's Algonquin based. This Indian would have been learning archery and hunting from the men of his village. By 1607, he was a paramount chief, again of that term, Tisin Nakomoko, having expanded it through a combination of force and diplomacy to between 28 to 22 tribes and petty chiefdom. I don't like how they call them petty though. Why gotta be petty? I'm talking about it. And then it says
they probably just said just weren't big.
They weren't big, but you don't gotta say small. I'm saying to say small.
Petty. That's you a petty ass nigga. Yeah.
like that terminology. Let's call somebody petty on. That's kind of crazy. But Powhatan negotiated with the English and especially John Smith, attempting to reach accommodations with the colonists, and when he could not, you know what I'm saying, attempting to intimidate or kill them in 1609, he moved his capital from Werowocomoco to Orapax, which was the farthest west, and intensified his efforts to kill Smith and expel the English. All right. So Pocahontas' marriage ended. That's right. It didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? At the stage of the conflict, which means, you know, he took his daughter back and was like, forget them. Heard me? It says, and the relations were peaceful until Powhatan's death in 1618. When his brother, these names right here, boy, Opaka Kono, I tried to pronounce, I couldn't get it right, became leader of the same tribe. I can't get right either in that long. Tensina Komoko, right, had launched the attack at the inaugurated Second Angolian Powhatan War. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. You know what I'm saying? That's right there. Second Angolian Powhatan War. Anglo. Excuse me if I said that wrong too. See, to messing with them words got my whole shit messed up, y'all.
My boy, and they got everybody seeing ghosts out here.
Well, it got me messed up with reading them these words right here. I never said.
How you think it was when them when them Europeans period came over here and them boys started pronouncing their name? They looking at them like, excuse me, say what? And them boys coming over here, their name is Alfred Johns. He didn't come over here and say my name, Chamusko no my Moscow.
Whatever that was, that sound like that right there.
You feel me? And they know they're gonna say it fast too. That's how we do. But think about it, it's still like that to the day. That's why the English, that's why the people in the South is different. You'll hear somebody, boy, if you ain't from around there, you can hear a conversation and literally not know what the hell them people
talking
going
on. Right. You ain't even know. You hearing it, but you don't hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't comprehend nothing. You just, okay, they talking, I don't know what they're saying. All right.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that right there is in a place like that, though. That's all tied to the Powhatan. And we can go back to the slide, though. And by the way, this right, that picture right there. See that picture, y'all, right there? Right there.
I was like, I'm a Gorokon. I'm gonna call you Reed. Well, I'm a
Gorokon is not what they gonna call him. You heard me? That's not happening. So
feel me.
There we go. See that picture right there, though, right? That picture.
Mm-hmm. They got that peace pipe up in there.
Yeah.
Now this what we gonna do.
We gonna smoke them on out. You heard me? So this is obviously the black and white, you know, depiction of it, right? So we wouldn't know, but they have colored pictures too because of the person by the name of Smith. See the guy right there, Captain Smith, right there. So in there is this held that Captain Smith, right? So Buddy Smith, his name is John Smith, by the way. He's tied to the map that one of the earlier maps of Virginia, 1612. You know what I'm saying? And obviously too, William Starchy, the history of traveling into Virginia, Brittany. That's another term they use, Brittany. You know what I'm saying? Brittany, right? All that. This is George Percy, observations gathered out. The discourse is all talking about the plantations of this area. But I'm getting to most commonly the how they described them. You know what I'm saying? Before I go read the rest of this. It says that the writers commonly describe Powhatan as tawny, brown, copper-colored, or similar comparisons. Dark hair, painted, meaning that some of them wore ceremonial paint, right? But they weren't painting themselves brown and copper colored. You heard me? By the way.
Nope.
So Smith described, the guy that showed the picture, in that picture, he described the people as having dark hair and complexion, unlike Europeans, as we should already know. You know what I mean? Often using words such as tawny rather than black. So the word tawny, if y'all look it up, you know what I mean? It's light brown. You know what I'm talking about? But also brown. So it's comparisons of the complexions of the people, tawny, copper, brown. So again, you know, that right there just need to be laid out. So now, again, I think we are back at the top, though. I think you got to go down now. I think this is why the name Virginia Company. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, it was Virginia Company.
Yeah. So King James, right? 1606. It's the man with the Bible. You know what I'm talking about? He's tied to the chartering, giving this company, you know what I mean, to be able to come over here and establish England's first permanent colony in North America, right? So there's some things tied to, James and what he did with, because of the people that are coming over, they're following the laws of King James. You know what I mean? They're subject and they're following the law. And the laws that they're given to govern themselves by is what we call today the King James Bible. You know what I'm talking about? It's tied to this. So we're gonna slide down. 1606 though. We can slide down. All right, boom. Jamestown, 1607, founded May 14th, 1607, right? Leaders included Christopher Newport, you know what I mean? That's, you always tied to that place called Newport, right? John Roloff, as you know, we just talked about how he tried to play a role, what he tried to do with the indigenous folk and didn't work out. And so tobacco became their obviously biggest economic foundation, you know what I mean, from back then, 1600s, right? This is what they were like. And that's why they show homeboy with the pipe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they were smoking that bit. They were like, oh.
Man, it was plentiful.
Well, yeah, boy, y'all smoking it like that over here like it's nothing. Yo, you want some? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that part right there. Tobacco and other things, but we're going to say tobacco, okay? Margaritas and reefer. Now keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. So Houses of Burgesses. Now, I got a whole PowerPoint just did for House of Burgesses, but they got to get mentioned because of the timeline.
1619. I think he froze. See if he shake back. But to what he was saying though, the timeline, right? Because we always hear 1619, 1619. Let me let Mac know he's stuck. Or y'all let me know if it's me. I doubt it, but let me know. Let me text him. Oh, he see. Yeah, so 1619, what we always attribute that to, that's the Pan-African story, right? It's 1619, exactly. There you go. 1619 project. Whole time, though, the House of Burgesses is in 1619. Hold on, Max, shoot back. Hold on. Hey, I was just letting them know 1619, and Buddy was on it. 1619 project is everything we held. Most people don't care nothing about no House of Burgesses and none of that. So yeah, we rocking.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you said that though. He said that. Sacred Grove said that. I don't know, call you a bill. I don't know. So in the case though, yeah, 1619 is what they point to, but all this stuff was going on going into 1619, and obviously it was people already, as they call black, in North America prior to 1619. Period. Yeah. It's a project for real, because I don't even know what their infatuation is with making 1619 tied to
the year. Yeah, why that year?
Yeah, why is it that's the project in itself right there to me? Yeah. Why are you using
to create that narrative?
Yeah, that part. I don't even understand why they go. Anyways, though, because 1619, I'm glad they brought it up, because when we think about Virginia and everything, people are black, most likely usually talked about the 1619 project, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. So with that though, there's a lot of, this is in American history though, the House of Burgesses, George Washington and all that right there. That's something I think you would want to know about, because of how they're the ones setting up the grounds for certain things that's taking place in the first English controlled colony in North America. So, you know what I mean? So, you got to also understand what kind of power did they have to grab a whole bunch of people and do anything at this time and bring them in. You know what I'm saying? And the people that, since you brought up 1619 and the 1619 project, in Virginia, they're not using the term African in 1619. Saying nobody can be, just like how the lady who we just showed you came up with it, right? Pre-proposed it. Well, it's not in the colonial records. They're calling the people they do have coming out of West Africa. They would use the word Guinea or Angola because of the port. You know what I'm saying? They're not using, we brought some Africans in. You know what I mean? It wasn't, even with them, how that Portuguese ship that they talk about tied to 1619, that was confiscated and brought into, you know what I mean? Oh, that's tied to 1619. But the House of Burgesses are the ones that's governing what's happening in 1619 when this project's supposed to happen. Ain't that something? How that work? So you can slide though. Because we got the whole presentation on just the House of Burgesses for y'all. All right, so see, Africans are earlier in Virginia. See, look at that. Point Comfort. You know what I'm saying? Point Comfort. Yeah. So this when they say the word African, like I said, in this time frame, they're not even using this word. That's what's so interesting about it. You know what I'm saying? The legal status evolved over the 1600s. Later colonial laws established hereditary and racial slavery. So all this is going to be tied to Virginia. Virginia is a prominent to a lot of things that passed racially and for women because of what the House of Burgesses and them were doing in early Virginia years. So we're going to keep going. I think it's just the major colonial laws. Remember this right here. Matter of fact, I want you to see that I said things affecting women, right? So it says 1662, status followed the mother. 1667, baptism did not change enslaved status. That means before, baptism did change enslaved status, didn't it? Isn't that what that means, y'all?
Yeah.
Or is it just me? I thought that was interesting, right? This is all happening in Virginia. So are we going to say that if you were baptized in Virginia prior to this time frame, you could be free, ain't it? That's what they're telling you. You can be manumitted. You became a Christian. Now, you would say since the 67, they're still using the KJV throughout this time frame, right? And you got to read it. Shout out to Lee Cummins. The introduction of the KJV Bible tells you some things that will let you know the influence of how they govern themselves and how they looked at certain things at this time. So, again, slave codes. We all know, most people know about the slave codes kicked in 1705, Virginia slave codes, and that's tied to Virginia. You know what I mean? So all this major colonial laws, colonial time frame, you know what I mean? All this is happening. Now, you can slide down. I think we're almost out of there on this one, right?
I think so.
All right, so I think my next one is gonna be, we can go to the next one. All right, yeah, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Matter of fact, Thomas Jefferson's father was tied to the maps of Virginia, dealing with certain maps, mapping out Virginia and the county line between
surveying
North Carolina and Virginia. You know what I'm saying? It was his father. Thomas Jefferson's father was involved in that. Patrick Henry, James Madison played major roles in the American Revolution, and obviously Virginia's tied to that because of how Philadelphia and all that stuff we talking about. And why, you would say, because of the House of Burgesses was located coming out of where? Virginia. See what I'm saying? So the House of Burgesses is dealing with going into the Continental Congress certain time frame. They're the ones that also fought against the French and Indian War. So a lot of this is tied to the House of Burgesses, y'all. You know what I mean? Remember that. All right, we can slide down. Legacy. Funny enough, right? Virginia became the 10th U.S. state in 1788 and is known as the mother of presidents. That's right. Yeah, it's a lot of presidents that came out of Virginia, y'all. You heard me? So that's right there. Virgin, Queen, named after. That's the origins of Virginia. Legacy and everything tied to it. And that's just to give y'all the overview. You heard me? That's the overview of it now. All right, that's now. What's my next one I got? Did I hit you with? I think I put it in order.
Yeah. I don't know if you put the rest of them in order after that though.
Well, we can give him House of Burgesses. We can go House of Burgesses. We can go House of Burgesses. Just give him a little more detail about House of Burgesses here tonight. You know what I mean? I think yeah. So boom. Established in 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia, first elected representative assembly, English, we already went over that, created under the Virginia Company. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of them came out of Virginia. We're gonna go into that next. That's the next thing we're gonna go into. Government structure, governor appointed by Crown, right, could approve and veto laws. Governor Council, upper house, advised governor, House of Burgesses, elected lower house. So this is their system of governance they setting up in North America with the government structure of the House of Burgesses, all right? So we can keep sliding. 1619, 22 burgesses, 11 settlements, 2 representatives per settlement. Later, most counties elected 2 burgesses. Some towns and William and Mary also represented. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's very interesting, right? So it's like, they let you see, they're showing you that they had a system. You know what I mean? So if you didn't know the system, they had,
and it was a good idea, bro.
Yeah,
because remember what they coming from. They coming from the monarchy, and they rebelling against that. It was like, bro, we finna do something different, and they used the way that the King James Bible was written to go what they call the common law. That's how they was basing this new representation based off of common law, not based on your ancestry.
And that's why I think people got to know about that common law and how all this is connected, you know what I'm saying, to the Bible today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
And hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
All right.
So we're gonna keep it here. How these representatives looked at things and House of Burgesses connection to this. But before I move forward, right, since you just brought that up, you know what I'm saying? So obviously we know Scotland. Last week I showed you the definition coming out of Scotland on dictionaries with Blackamoor. Right?
Morian. Yeah,
the word Morian, right? So James I of England, as we know, when we say the sixth because it's Scotland, but it's first because of England, you know what I mean? But 1604, he authorized a new English Bible translation at the Hampton Court Conference. You know what I'm saying? In 1606, he granted the charter to the Virginia Company, which is going to be tied to how we just showing you how they set up their system over here, right? To establish colonies in Virginia. All right. 1607, Jamestown was founded. 1611, the first edition of the King James Bible was published. 1619, Virginia established the House of Burgesses, as we just showed you, right? And first documented Africans, as they would say, arrived at Point Comfort, not in America, but at Point Comfort. See what I'm saying? That's the project. So, and they weren't even being called Africans at the time either. So the King James Bible in 1611, KJV, was intended to provide an authorized English translation for the use of the Church of England, replace disputes caused by competing English translations, standardized public scripture reading throughout England. So Virginia under King James, right, the House of Burgesses, Virginia itself was named obviously after Queen Elizabeth, right? The first, by the way. James supported colonization through royal charters that authorized the Virginia Company to establish settlements, which is all the stuff we're getting ready to go through, governing colonists, spread English influence, and promote Christianity among indigenous peoples. You heard me? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Christian. And see how I said that if you became a Christian, you could be free. You heard me? You became a Christian. Them indigenous people that became Christians, we talk about the Moravians doing it, right? All these different missionary groups coming in. Funny enough, right? The Virginia Company charter emphasized both commercial aims and propagation of Christian religion. All right. So the Bible and colonial government, this is where this comes in at. You pulling something up? Religion became the embedded in colonial life. Churches were established in settlements. Ministers often used and authorized version once it became widely available. You know what I'm saying? So biblical language influenced laws, oaths, education, and public ceremonies. So impact of the 13 colonies literally is heavily impacted by the KJV and how they govern themselves. And funny enough, shout out to Lee Cummins. Anybody hasn't read the introduction, right? Before we go into what's on the screen right here, it lets you know that that reflects the translator's understanding of the Bible text. It says the Old Testament was primarily translated from Biblical Hebrew with some passages in Aramaic. And obviously the New Testament was tied to the Greek. See what I'm saying? So they weren't following no other version of the Bible but the Hebrew version, especially the Old Testament. And obviously the Greek because of that Roman Catholic influence we be talking about. But go ahead. What you got for them?
So everything you was just saying, right? When they hear us reference the Bible, they think we trying to tell them to be a Christian instead of telling them the game on the legality side, but the proof is out there. So we didn't reference this a few times, but Public Law 97-280 came out in 1982. I'm going to read a couple little sentences real quick. Okay. So it's a joint resolution that came out. It says, whereas the Bible, the word of God, has made a unique contribution in shaping the United States as a distinctive and blessed nation and people, whereas deeply held religious convictions springing from the Holy Scriptures led to the early settlement of our nation, whereas biblical teachings inspire concepts of civil government that are contained in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. So I'm just saying, this is a joint resolution that they all agreed to, saying that the way the country was formed, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence all come from principles from that King James Bible. Mm-hmm. This ain't no theory.
No, ain't no theory at all. 100%. Because see, what the showing is, like you just said, when they set up the colony in Virginia, they brought over that Bible. And that's how they were governing themselves. So the House of Burgesses is staying in the morale of that Bible, and they're heavy about, you know, the Old Testament and how it's supposed to be read, and obviously the New Testament. They understand this at this time. These are white folk. I don't give a damn. You going to call it what you want to call it, and black folk. You know what I'm saying? They are both groups of people coming into the colonies. Understand this about
what's on this. Period. It don't matter what your race is. You own this.
Yeah, you coming to
because we know King James them set him up, right? So why would he not give the book that he just set up an author to go and be governed by? That was the whole game plan. And like bro say right here, they ain't say Christian teachers, they said biblical teachers and this joint resolutions. Exactly, bro.
That part.
We get so caught up on words and different things instead of getting the game, getting the understanding.
That's right. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad he pulled that up, because some people would automatically just said Christian. You know what I mean? Because that's the same thing when we talk about the Constitution and the First Amendment. Don't say Christian. It say, you know what I mean? We ain't for or against people's religions, especially whatever they choose. You know what I mean? Yep. But we ain't gonna let you use it to take over the government. You know what I mean? That's what they were telling you too. So, however, slide down. So voting qualifications, right? Early period, many adult free men could vote. Later, voting largely limited to free white male property owners after 1670 reforms. See,
and the way they play with these terms, free white male property owner, is really redundant, because to be free and white, when they changed it, you had to be a male and you had to own property. So even if you was free white but didn't own property, you couldn't vote. But the way it's framed like that, and they make it think that this means skin color. This just means your status.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you in line with biblical
Are you a Christian?
teachings? Yeah. That part.
Then you
know what I'm saying?
You
white. You're pure. you eligible for the system. Yeah.
Oh boy, listen here. Okay, so Virginia now, see, that's why Virginia gonna slide down a little bit more. Powers. They passed the local laws, levied taxes, controlled appropriations, regulated colonial affairs, petitioned the crown. See, petitioning the crown. You know what I mean? So anything that they got going on, they're dealing with it from the angle of petitioning the crown for what they don't like and how it's going on where they're at in Virginia. So they're having to send this back to where? England, right? And all that to get certain things done. Boom, it's showing you that right there. So all that right there is in flex. See what I'm saying? What's happening with the powers of the House of Burgesses. All right, what else is there for this one? Legacy. You got, I told y'all, George Washington, all right? Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, Richard Henry Lee, replaced in 1776 by the Virginia House of Delegates. So the House of Burgesses went from the House of Burgesses to what? The Virginia House of Delegates in 1776. What is happening in 1776, y'all? Isn't that when America?
The Revolution.
Ooh, listen here.
Right after the end of it, and the formation of America. Which would make sense why they would change it, at least by name, because you're not reporting to the crown no more. So they kept the same principles, they just cut the crown out of it.
Yeah. That's why I had to leave the House of Burgesses thing alone, because they were like, nah, we just dealing with the Virginia House now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we're the delegates of that now. Okay, this is how we're going to govern this now. You know what I mean? So that's, but you know, because George Washington was with the House of Burgesses, just like how he was with what? The Virginia House of Delegates, and he became president, right? In this time frame.
The funny thing is, when they say 1619 project, right? It really should be it's funny how they played on that now that we thinking and breaking this down, because the real experiment was what they did in the colonies, for real, because it had never been done anywhere. That's why they say in that joint resolution, this was a distinct new thing that was not happening nowhere in the world, in which was created here. Because everywhere, and still to this day, it's a lot of places that's heavily religion based as far as what you must be.
Right.
You feel me? And that's different here. Even with all the corruption and stuff that they changed of these original documents, it's still much freer than a lot of these other places. And it's still, that's what makes it so unique.
Right. But again, you know, the legacy behind it, people might not know this about Virginia in the House,
Yep.
it could be the House of Burgesses and all that right there. You know what I mean? I think I sent you something tied to that. Let me see something real quick.
Yeah, let me know. But yeah, so yes, I can see people wheels turning in the chat. Yeah, so let's frame this properly, right? We've been breaking down the expulsion of Black Jews, Hebrew people, all kind of, you name it, the terms, Black or Moors, whatever, getting expelled out of Europe and other places and coming into America with certain surnames that exist amongst the formation of America. And then we see, we put muster rolls showing that it was Black Europeans fighting in the Revolutionary War. So we know that that existed. You feel me? And then after we know that also the part that we leave, a lot of folks leave out because they don't study the Black Europeans is, them folks, the crowns in Europe was all changing in the 1700s, the same time that the revolution was happening. So it was a change of the guard happening all over the world, essentially, when America get formed. And and that's why they go to great lengths to cover up this story and just saying we Africans, because our lineage played the biggest role in the creation of America on both sides, the European and the Indians, bro. And can't nobody else say that except for us.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Because they literally, it's crazy that they actually called the Powhatans outside of their name. They actually called them Virginians. They were like, they the Virginians. Like, hold on, wait a minute.
The original.
Take the colony and then say the indigenous people are the people that you calling now Virginians now, right? You know, so what are you?
Crazy.
Not a Virginian,
right?
Too? Like, you created the name. You after the Queen. Why is it now you got to call the indigenous people who are a Powhatan? Anyway, see, it's a lot of things. But you know, today I'm a Floridian. That's some people might say. Matter of fact, I was born in Virginia, so I'm a Virginia too. Norfolk, North Side. You heard me? That's like Suffolk, South Side. All that good stuff. All that right there. You know, American, but I was born in Virginia, so I guess I'm a Virginian. You know what I'm saying? So this right here, though, quick link on this is yeah. You look right here. See Peter Jefferson?
Yeah. Colonel Peter Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Peter Jefferson, yeah.
Remember Thomas Jefferson?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a connection here. So Colonial Jefferson, look, go down, read a little bit of this, because this is tied to the Virginia right here, too, you know, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing a survey, you know what I mean? But I want to
he a land surveyor. Okay,
yeah,
we're looking for
the land surveyor. This is the one I was telling you earlier about Jefferson's pops, what he was doing. You know what I mean? This is showing you that they're doing. Peter Jefferson had been born 38 years before the Osborns, below Richmond, Virginia, as scion to establish tidewater stock. As a young man, improved largely by self-education, he moved west to the Piedmont and Goochland County, newly created and named for Governor William Gooch. There, he spent 10 years acquiring and developing property along the James River. Among this near neighbors was the county surveyor, William Mayo. So these guys came together, right? Before the Old Dominion, look what talks about Barbados involved. Look how they're talking about, because Mayo had just did what? Surveyed the West Indian island of Barbados to acclaim for settlers and government. In 1728, he was selected to help survey the line between Virginia and North Carolina. Ain't that some shit?
Yep.
So that, you know, this is how they
survey was big business back then.
Now becoming what it's becoming because of the survey being done. Before that, they didn't have no name. They didn't have a line for it. You see what I'm saying?
They ain't know. Yeah.
It's like they ain't no line.
You got to go trail the unknown, bro.
Listen here. You know what I'm saying? So, Secretary of State issued warrant amount on land to which the claim, I skipped down, y'all. The warrant was given to the county surveyor, and obviously, they handle their business. You can put this in the chat. I ain't gonna read all of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm trying to get down to this map. There's a map in this joint. They show dealing with what they did when they did the survey. Before we get into other stuff,
I just put it in the chat. Oh, right here.
Yeah, there it is.
Damn, it's kind of blurry though. Let me see if I can still blurry. Let me see if I can find a different one.
You see how it says? Oh, it was talking about Thomas Jefferson. See?
Yeah, the Fried Jefferson map, but the cartouche depicting a prosperous colony was the finest of colonial Virginia and often prominently displayed in the homes and offices of enterprising Virginians. So it ain't really, I wish I could, but this the one they put out is actually blurry, so ain't shit I can really do. But it just showing that they didn't surveyed it all. It ain't nothing individually here. It just showing you everything surveyed off, and they letting folks know, hey, this is what they was using as marketing material to send back up the, but at first, this is what they was doing to get people to want to buy in to come in and sell in this land, other Europeans. You know what I'm saying? They get these surveys. They was creating joint stock companies. So based on the survey and showing the amount of land, so once again, context matters. This even just this small area right here to a European is humongous. Because that shit over there little. Come on, it's little. So they like, bro, y'all got all this land, boy? Yeah, how much you said it was to get over there? People start making plays because they not finna own no land in Europe. They have no prospects of that. You know what I'm saying?
It's not happening.
It's not happening. But yeah.
Yo, and again though, in that same, if you go back to the page part where it showed that map. All right, right there, where it talks about Joshua Fry and Peter Jefferson were selected 3 years later to extend the boundary between Virginia and North Carolina. As Thomas Jefferson wrote, his father being of strong mind, sound judgment, and eager about information, read much and imposed himself insomuch that he was chosen with Joshua Fry to run the boundary line between Virginia and North Carolina. Thomas Jefferson, boy, his father, the Jeffersons, you heard me? They was
putting in work.
They were putting in work. You know what I'm saying? You see why later he's in his position too, though, right? Thomas Jefferson, he don't just come from out of nowhere now. You see what I'm saying? Some people might think
good stock.
How did this guy Jefferson even get into this situation? You know what I mean? To be prominent in how we look at it. I don't like Jefferson. See, I don't like the Jeffersons either way. But however, you know what I mean? I like George Jefferson, and I'm trying to figure out how to come up. You heard me? That's right. Besides that, I don't mess with the other Jeffersons.
And here's the thing, that especially Jefferson, bro, these names and these people, the Washingtons and the Mayos, and I say, damn, boy, some black ass surnames, boy. It's real interesting. At this time, nobody knows, nobody has pictures. Everybody's race is up for speculation at this point because there's no physical proof to say yay or nay for majority of people that existed in this time frame.
I mean, hey, they delineated amongst each other definitely, but would not, you can't say that everybody, even the picture. I think inside that map, I guess it's like you said, it's blurry, but they're showing you a couple different complexions of people in the picture. See what I'm saying? It's not like everybody's being depicted as black or white. It's like black, white, you know what I mean? So, and the surnames, like you said again, you coming out of England, as the people we know been deported out of England, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Anne, and all that, right? They're using terms and they're calling people swarthy and everything like that. We know good and well that they're dark and they're being also labeled Negroes here in the colonies, as we getting ready to go into with my last joint. But I think I want to show this one more thing too.
All right.
Where is it at?
Yeah, we tap it in. But he said Jefferson and so that's why, like, you know, what I meant with it is based on the research, we know it's an overwhelming majority of people that came from certain places where the Blackamoors we know is at with these surnames. Now, obviously, most folks by nature, we gonna want to attribute if something bad happened, it's just the nature of Black people. If something bad happened, we want to be like, nah, that had to be a white person. Whole time, we don't know for real. Because saying you was a free white property owner don't mean your skin is white.
That
feel me? So we can't say for a fact that a Jefferson or a Washington or a Lincoln or any, or even Jackson, Andrew Jackson. We can't say what these folks was on, what color they was for sure, because there is no picture of them. There was no painting commission while they were alive. You feel what I'm saying? Because anything that comes, any paintings that you see and go, that shit was after they was dead. And we know how propaganda works.
A lot of proposed ideas of what they want everybody to like. So it's the end of the day, that's and again, that can't come about until later on. And as we get ready to go into this next joint. Yeah, play this quick little video though, because we're gonna go into indentured servitude tied to Virginia. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into, and then after that, I got that PowerPoint. You know what I mean?
Damn, let me take this down. I don't know if I got my sound. I'm gonna put it right back on.
If I blank out, then just keep playing it, and I'll come back. All right.
All right. I'm loading it up.
Just in case.
Oh, you said this by email. Oh, said indentured servitude. I see it.
Oh, someone said J.A. Rogers says in his book that Thomas Jefferson was black because his dad was black. Why just gave you his daddy name?
Peter Jefferson. And that's what I'm just saying. Like, and it makes sense because the folks that was able to do the deals, like think about it with Pocahontas.
Coming out of the Barbados and doing certain things, talking about.
Yeah, but for Pocahontas, it would make more sense if the man looked like them. He just from a different nation. You feel what I'm saying? They'd be more willing to do that type of deal versus, you feel me? That make way more sense to me. I'm just saying. All right, hold on, I got this video. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, hold on. No audio.
Ain't no audio? They tripping.
I don't think so. I thought it was, though.
Indentured servants were individuals, both male and female, who entered into a contractual agreement, commonly referred to as an indenture or covenant, in which they committed to working for a specified duration in exchange for transportation to Virginia and provisions such as food, clothing, and shelter upon arrival. Adults typically served for 4 to 7 years, while children sometimes served for even longer periods, primarily working in Virginia's tobacco fields. Indentured servitude, with its roots deeply embedded in England's history, emerged as the primary solution for Virginia planters to meet their constant demand for labor throughout much of the 17th century. Initially, the Virginia Company of London covered the expense of transporting servants to the colony. However, the introduction of the headright system in 1618 shifted this burden.
The headright system, all right.
Heard that shit, right?
Yep.
You notice how I said something about the covenant? You notice how I said indentured or covenant agreement? A covenant agreement? That's trust. Yep. Now we know the covenant could be tied to them coming over with the church. See what I'm saying? So are you indentured to the church? And as you tied to the covenant, and then you got to work this off a certain way. You see what I'm saying? Now,
yep.
I think that's something people need to look into because you don't hear too many people say covenant and indentured servitude together. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't heard that too many times, especially but Virginia though. See, and I just read to y'all.
But it makes sense to me.
What they were doing, Christianity, they were Christianity and what tobacco and you know what I mean? The things they were.
So think about it. If you finna come over here, you got nothing over there in Europe. Hey, I'm finna indenture myself to the mission.
To the ministry.
To the
KJV, by the way.
Exactly.
I'm in the covenant. You see what I'm saying?
And it makes sense because they ain't had nothing to look forward to over there. So why not try?
Not at all. Not at all, man.
And do your little 7 years and going on.
Man, listen here. They over here smoking that good tobacco. You know what I'm talking about? Like, man, these people got it going on over here. So then you show that my last PowerPoint, which is dealing with. That's why I use that for that. You know what I mean? Indentured servitude. See, because I thought I'd go into this right here. Political representation in colonial America. All right, now 1619. Point Comfort. 1776. That's the timeline I'm covering right here, real quick, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So here's, and it's a project, literally, on how they expanded what they did. So it examines a political participation in colonial Virginia rather than the structure of the House of Burgesses. See, I want to make sure I gave you the distinctions. You know what I mean? I gave you the House of Burgesses, but I want you to get the layers of understanding that how they're dealing with it inside of it. So focus on voting, as we broke down how they did that in the House of Burgesses, and its office holding, legal status, and how these changed over time. So that's why I thought it was important. So dealing with Virginia, that this right here be understood, because a lot of people talk about the project. You heard me?
Yeah.
So let's slide down. All right, purpose. Oh no, I just did that. Okay, boom, we can slide. All right, what representation meant? Representation referred primarily to electing members of the House. We already covered that. Political rights differed from civil rights, such as owning property or using the court. So you have to be in good standing to even be able to own property and have access to the court or vote in those kind of ways. This is how we just broke down with the House of Burgesses set up with these systems. See what I'm saying? So we can slide down. Voting qualifications. You know what I'm saying? We read that already too, but you can look at it, and electorate and all that stuff that we talk about today. You know what I mean? Terms might be used. You see, it's going back to then. We can keep going. English free male property owners. All right. Principal voting population. Eligible to elect burgess and serve in office and otherwise qualified. Held most political power by the 18th century. So going into the American Revolution, these are the power players because they're owning land. They are able to vote. They're tied to the, that whole system of the Burgesses going in, and later how it transferred over into the Virginia House of Delegates. See what I'm saying? So now, if you are not part of that, you're not voting in the state going into when it became a state. See how they had it set up like that from the early part of Virginia going into the state time frame, or even American Revolution that you see when it became the House of Virginia Delegates, right? So slide over. Indentured servants. See how that worked? And now usually could not vote while under contract. You see how I said contract?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that could be also, or if you came over with the church and you're in covenant, then you on a mission. You gave yourself to the mission. So you might have to work longer than even the contract of another person who's just an indentured, depending on the contract. But see, some became voters. Look what I said, some became voters after completing service and acquiring qualifying property. Ooh.
Yep.
You became a Christian. You finished the job. You did everything for the mission. And now you became a voter. You were good standing. And you know what I'm saying? Now you can go ahead and get you a piece of land and we'll recognize you as a free person. You heard me? Indentured service, though, could not do it unless what? They finished a contract first. Ain't that something? So we're going to slide down. Women. Women generally could not vote or hold an elective office regardless of property ownership, which means women could hold property, but they couldn't vote or be in a political position. So even if they own land, that's what they did to the women in this time frame, right? Yep. They said they could nevertheless own property in some legal circumstances. Nevertheless, I said that wrong. Own property in some legal circumstance. So again, women were able to own property in certain situations.
I think it was like husband or father passed away and give them land and pass it down, they can own it. But I think like buying it, and then if I remember correctly, when we were studying it, it was a lot of instances of women owning land, and it wasn't really. So I don't know if this was just definitely obviously in the political system they wasn't there, but in land ownership, I don't think it was is that cut and dry. But definitely in politics, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just another thing too, because as a child, I think it's going to go into that next because of the woman, right? Is the next one?
Yeah. Let's see.
Hold on real quick.
Oh no, free people of color.
So go back to the woman. Shout out to Miss Angela and all the ladies that's listening right now live. Miss Sherry, what up, everybody? You know, Secator Ventrum, part 2. Remember that term, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it gives the status of the child to whatever the mama status is. See what I'm saying?
It's inherited.
It's inherited, right? That's tied to Virginia. See what I'm saying? At the same time. under the House of Burgesses, where they made it to where the child of whatever the mama status is will be the child status, you know, automatically. Not so it's almost, you know, indentured, and they say children, as you know, can be held longer and indentured than even a grown person in contract, because the children don't know no better. They're born into the situation. See what I'm saying? So they might be actually working from the time they can work until they become an adult, and then at that point they still got to deal with the status of the contract still. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how that all works out, man. You know what I mean? Crazy work. But either way, secretor ventrum, you know what I mean? That's the term that they used dealing with the status of the woman and their child being connected to her. So we can slide down. I thought that I put that in there for some reason. Maybe it's down a little bit more. However, free people of color. Some free Black Virginians owned land, paid taxes, and appeared in court during the early colonial period. Evidence for voting is limited and varied by time and locality. By the 18th century, political participation was increasingly restricted. You heard that?
Yep.
It said
All
evidence for voting
plays.
is limited and varied by time and locality. So wait a second. I guess you can't say that everybody was a slave, huh?
No, and it didn't. And it's showing you it didn't start off. It became restrictive. It didn't start that way. So that tell you something right then and there. So obviously, it wouldn't. If it was all set up from the beginning for them to never get nowhere, then why from the beginning did they have more rights? Is because from the beginning they was the ones. They was the majority. Just like the observations of mankind said, up until a certain time, it was more Black Europeans than white ones in America, bro. And we know it wasn't no white Indians. So we got to cut that out.
I mean, it mixed with them white people somehow or another later on.
They definitely did mix with them later. But when we was here, it wasn't no white. It ain't a area that we attribute in America to be the white Indians the way we do our West Coast brothers. You feel me? We know they got that area, but they over there. Just like we got the South and the Midwest and the East Coast. We know that.
Something ain't right in the water, man.
Something ain't right.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Just like you said earlier about that case with the young boy. This right here, sometimes every time I look at what we talk about, this part right here, it's like how we ended up in this situation. Sometimes I gotta it's a mind-blowing thought process. Like, wait a minute.
It's a very intricate play they did, bro.
How did this really? I be really wanting to know y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to y'all. For my maroon position, autonomy, I'm not picking no sides. I'm picking mine. At the end of the day, that right there, I have to question. I'm still trying to untangle when we do this history and tangible things of if it, as Benjamin Franklin states, all these colored folk coming from these areas, and then today they were all labeled Negroes and free people of color terminology, right? Term Blackamoor even shows these people in the 1400s, before they even came into these colonies, were already having surnames and certain things. You know what I mean? So that's the Negro question back to Lee Cummings. We're going to have to bring him back on for this one when we get into that part right there. Because I'm still questioning. I think we need to understand, get more people thought process on how that happened. But either way, tonight, free people of color in Virginia, they're letting you know that because this is tied to them, and specifically in Virginia through the research we did for this bill. You can slide down. Native people, Native nations were not represented in the Colonial Assembly. They negotiated with the colonial government through treaties. I see somebody in the chat had just said that. And diplomacy rather than elected representation.
Yep, they ain't need it. But I gotta go meet with y'all for we running shit over here. Y'all got the call. I got that little patch of land stuff y'all doing stuff with. They wasn't worried about them at that time.
No, they were not at all, man. And at the time you got to think about that too. So why today would these people want to be underneath the federal situation with the BIA having their representative elected for them? But at the same time, back then they did everything through treaty. So it's like
nation to nation.
How you guys how y'all ended up in this situation, y'all from a Native folk out there? You know what I'm talking about? How we ended? What's going on?
Integration. The integration been happening. It ain't start with civil rights.
Man, how they get a hold of y'all like that? Y'all was doing treaties and everything before. You see how they said that Pocahontas got married to the dude, and then they said, "Oh, it's over. We ain't recognizing that." They had to get a divorce because we killing y'all now. We warring with y'all. We need to do a treaty right now so we can stop this from going on. You know what I mean? And then it came back again. However, like when you, man, it's a flip flop. See, that's the flip flop. We can slide more to native peoples, right? Native peoples, Aboriginal. So again, they're using this term enslaved African. So that makes you know free people of color would be distinctively different from the people that are enslaved, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it excluded from voting and office holding, subject to laws enacted without political representation. You see that?
Yep.
You see that though? So wait, you supposed to be enslaved, but you're subject to the laws. What's the point of me being subject to laws if I'm enslaved? You got me.
Yep.
And I'm supposed to be chained up and all that kind of stuff. Well, I can't run. Wait a minute, huh? Enslaved look a little bit. Are they in a position because of where they came from, out of the Guinea or Angola or even North Africa or wherever they might have came from, right? Are they in a position where they're in the labor position only because of how they came through? Because we got a thing called the Asiento de Negro, and them people were stuck in labor. Most definitely because of that contract, being labeled a Negro, if they were Guinea or Angola, or a Blackamoor too, could be put into the Asiento Negro contract, which is different from indentured servitude. You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? All right. So subject to law enacted without political representation. So that's what we were talking about last week with Paul Cuffey and the 4th of July thing, right? It was black folk were free, but they didn't have no political representation. And that's why people like Paul Cuffey were arguing, why are you taxing me then? Why am I paying taxes and I can't be represented politically by my own folk? You know what I'm talking about? At the same time, subject to the laws enacted. So you're enacting things, but I don't got no representation. You know what I'm saying?
That don't make no sense.
But I'm supposed to be enslaved. So it's like, why are you even telling me this? You have to sit down and have this conversation with me for me to understand that you got me in a labor position, and I ain't gonna ever be able to, you could just change the laws in the state 3-4 years later. You know what I mean? And I'm impacted by it, but I ain't got no representation. But I'm free though. Or am I not free? Which one is it? Because free. The whole tax system. That's why the United States broke away from Britain in the first place. See, because they
didn't make no sense.
You're getting taxed again. You taxing me, and they taxing you, but now they ain't taxing you, and now you want to still tax me. Now, what's going on?
Yep.
Come on now. Let's use some of this thought process with what's going on here. So he's sliding down major legal developments. See, and that's that sequitur ventrum term that you can look up. You know what I mean? 1662, where child status followed the mother. You know what I mean? Over time, they just decided to do this. Meaning, in the beginning, it wasn't even there. They did this in 1662, which means before that, the child wasn't following just the mother, was it? You see how that worked? See how that timeline? All right, 1667, baptism did not alter enslaved status. So, before that, if you got baptized, you could become free, like we just broke down. This is all in Virginia. 1670s, franchise tied more closely to free holding. Virginia slave codes consolidated legal distinctions, 1705. So, these are all the developments tied to Virginia. We hear a lot of people talk about, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot more to Virginia as far as laws that even later, people talk about with the history of the Indians being called Negroes, you know what I'm saying, within Virginia, right? Because they stay in the state time frame of them changing certain things. The paper bag situation with the
miscegenation laws and cleffing them.
Man, Virginia a rough place, man. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to racism, as they say in the country. And because I'm not going to cover that state, you know what I'm saying?
This is right here.
Oh yeah, of course.
This the number one thing. This what made me get into politics when I was doing the history, all the research we was doing. every single time that we saw a major change or something when it came to the way you was labeled or classified, it was always a political movement every single time. It never fails. That's why politics is important, from local all the way to the federal, because all the big shit is federal when they change the way our classifications work, but it pop up from somewhere on the state level first. You know what I'm saying? Just like we learned from the what's her name? We were talking about in the beginning. What's her name? Came up after that preposition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Always be somebody we don't know about who come up with the legislation, come up with the plan, and then it's somebody else with the microphone like Jesse Jackson. This ain't nothing new.
Shoot, matter of fact, since we talking about major things, also it didn't give me all of them in this one. So again, and I've been saying the word backwards and every other way, but the term for the first one in 1662 is actually the right way to say it is partus sequitur ventrum. You know what I'm saying? So partus sequitur ventrum is where it says a child's legal status followed the mother rather than the father, making slavery hereditary through the maternal line. See what I'm saying? So
yep.
that's what that word is tied to. So you can understand what they did to us with that move. That was in 1667. We already showed you the baptism comes next. This is in Virginia, which obviously let you know that at this time, you being declared a Christian did not free, an enslaved person anymore. But before that, it could. You see what I'm saying? So the ethnic identity is out of the window if you want to become free in this situation. You could just, get baptized and become a good old Christian. You know what I'm saying? Within their system. Following the KJV, by the way.
Right.
Now, 1669, Casual Killing Act. That's not in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it provided legal protection to owners when an enslaved person died during punishment under specified circumstances. You know what I'm saying? This is all in Virginia. You know what I mean? So basically, they if they punishing you because you ran away or you defying the master, as they would say on the plant, who you working for, and they punishing you and you happen to die, they can't, nobody can come say anything to you. You know what I'm saying? That's when they say you like your property. You know what I'm talking about? That's that right there. Casual Killing Act. That's an interesting term, right? I mean, phrase.
Oh,
right?
I forgot about that. Hidden statutes at large. Yep, was in Virginia too.
Yeah, hidden statutes. See, all these different statutes. 1682 is not on here either. It says defining who could be enslaved. You see what time frame that is? In 1682, it says expanded who could legally be held as slaves based on origin and status. So that partus sequitur ventrum.
Origin and status.
Origin and status. You see how that?
Not color.
It didn't say color, right? It didn't say color. Now your mother might be more influential on your status rather than your color of your skin. See what I'm saying?
Correct.
So the interracial marriage laws. Yeah, Virginia, boy. 1691. You know what I'm saying? No, they left that out on here. Prohibited marriage between white persons and black or native people and imposed penalties. Virginia wasn't playing around. See what I'm saying? 1705, right there, obviously, the Act of Concerning Servants and Slaves, if you ain't heard about that. Consolidated earlier laws into Virginia's first comprehensive slave code and became the foundation of the Virginia slave law. That's right, 1705, the Act of Concerning Servants and Slaves. So obviously, them codes of 1705, the Virginia House of Burgesses brought together early statutes and added new provisions, among other things. You know what I'm saying? Distinguished between indentured servants and enslaved people. Declared that many persons brought from non-Christian countries would be treated as slaves for life. You heard that? From non-Christian countries. It didn't say race. It said non-Christian. And so that means if only way you gonna get out of slavery, right? Because that's Asiento de Negro contracts and all that were wrong, right?
Yep.
Guess what? You're gonna have to become a Christian. But then they changed it, as we're showing you, after 1667. See, that's why you got you know what I'm saying? Now it say, stated that conversion to Christianity after arrival did not change enslaved status. expanded the legal powers of enslavers and further restricted the rights of enslaved people. Virginia, boy. It's a relation to the House of Burgesses. Since you've been researching, that's right, I've been doing this all week with the House of Burgesses and all this right here, is that every one of these laws was enacted by legislative body.
There you go. Politics.
Legislative body, that House of Burgesses. You heard me? So again, fun, broader research here for y'all. Could be almost out of here tonight. And say, because you've been studying the 17th century, right, from what we were doing here tonight and all this time frame, one provision of the 1705 Act is particularly relevant. It classified many people brought from non-Christian countries as slaves, but included limited exceptions, such as certain Turks and Moors allied with England, or persons who could prove they had been free in a Christian country before being transported. This illustrates that the legal categories used in colonial Virginia reflected a combination of religion, origin, and legal status rather than relying on a single modern racial concept. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is Virginia.
Mm-hmm. The predecessor to this political system, and the original political system was a good one. And as far as the way it was represented, like the way it was set up and structured, oh yeah. Because when the states, when it came to a state level, and them boys was doing their thing off of the same system, you know what I'm saying, pre-Civil War.
You see how I said the Turks and Moors, the ally with England?
Yeah.
Is it or persons who could prove they had been free in a Christian country before being transported?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be like, you in Spain, right? You in Portugal. You could be in France. You could be all these, and most of them Christian nations were what? European nations. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, see what I'm saying? So, are you saying that it wasn't black Christians?
Right.
That's where I think people will be messed up at, right? See what I'm saying?
We can't lie and say that because on the Pan-African way, they try to attribute Christianity to only white people. That's not factual.
That's not going to be. Yeah, you can't do that.
We will be lying if we said that.
Rome's
we can show you history. Yeah, like them folks, they was on that before they came to America, bro, and it was not, and they were dying about that shit over there.
Hey, look, matter of fact, that's why bro, that Secretary Ventrum goes back to that contract, Asiento de Negro, right?
Yeah.
And it's tied to the Portuguese in their time frame of the things that they were doing back then. Within the Asiento de Negro contract, it breaks down how they were treating their people who now are considered property of them in the contract. So one of the things that we know about from 1492 even is Christian, and how you were not a Christian, you could be enslaved. 1492, they tell you that. You know what I'm saying? The Roman Catholic Church tells you that. You know what I mean? If you were not a Christian. And that's why they tell you that some people who they were considered Sephardic Jews at this time frame are definitely, what's the word for it? Becoming Christians. So they won't have to get hit in the head. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call them Moranos, Moriscos, and terms like that. So that means that before they came into the colonies, they wouldn't even let them come into the colonies if they weren't Christian. If you didn't profess to be baptized underneath, you know what I'm saying? And that's why when King James, funny enough, I'm bringing all this up, because the Roman Catholic Church and what they were talking about was different from the jurisdiction of being a Christian underneath King James. They're two different type of jurisdictions, actually, y'all. Y'all realize that? That KJV being a covenant trust situation for people to be governed, like the House of Burgesses, they were different Christians than the Spanish Christians.
Right.
The Roman Catholic Christian.
Yep, different sects.
The different, and the government, and they under crown, so it's a different jurisdiction. I don't think people catch that either. All the Christianity ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? If you understand the levels of like jurisdictional part of it. And then it got collapsed as we're breaking down here later on. So obviously too,
hopefully it was they say the Virginia Constitution was written before the U.S. Constitution.
Right. Ain't that
Major. Mm-hmm.
Like that's
It
how
was,
you know.
it was all derived from Virginia, bro.
Because Virginia had the House of Burgesses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you'd be like, hold on, wait a second, right? Why is it like that? Well, they understood that that House of Burgesses was very important. That's why I want to highlight them within Virginia and what they did to these systems of laws they governed over. And obviously how it's tied to King James, but you know what I'm saying, how they kind of over time started to move away from the actual certain things of the Bible. If you don't know, we talk about it of the KJV at least, but because of how they want to govern over people and not treat everybody within the same morale system of what the KJV said. Funny enough, you know what I mean? So they were Sephardic Jews in colonial Virginia, by the way. All right, Sephardic Jews. All right, and they're obviously tied to New York, Newport, Rhode Island, Charleston, and Philadelphia. We've covered Philadelphia, and you're going in Charleston. We're going to hit these other places soon too as well. But within what I did find is there's a person by the name of Elias Lagarde, also spelled Lagardo. You know what I'm saying? Was believed by many historians to have been a Sephardic Jew from Languedoc in southern France. He arrived in Jamestown in 1621 aboard the Abigail to help establish vineyards and silk production. He later leased land in Elizabeth City, now part of Hampton area, because the records do not explicitly state his religion. Historians usually describe him as possibly a probable Sephardic Jew rather than presenting it as certain. And other people, Joseph, Moses, Rebecca, Isaac, you know what I mean? There's a name they found in history tied to, you know what I mean, this situation. And why is it that? Because unlike Charleston and New York, Virginia had a Church of England as the established church. Did y'all know that? Virginia had the Church of England there.
Yeah, had a little satellite church. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So required various religious tests for public participation. Lacked a major international port during much of the 17th century. You know what I'm saying? So this is why Virginia wasn't like other places we hear about, but they set up their own situation. Virginia, boy. Virginia, man.
A lot was going on, man. Gotta know these places, bro. Reframe. Once you get to this conscious state of mind, go reframe what you know about American history, bro. You look at things a little bit different.
Yeah, and definitely they're gonna have to look at it a little bit different because see that Portuguese ship they're talking about, right? That was was intercepted and was brought into Virginia, right? Yep. So that right there, as we're talking about it real quick, y'all, is this that 1619 Point Comfort thing. So who you think the people on the Portuguese ship, them niggas, Negroes, you don't think that some of them were Morenos or Moriscos?
They don't know what they was.
They don't know exactly what they, feel me? So
with no motherfucking passport that existed at this time. Just because you come from a port don't mean you from where that port was it.
Point Comfort, first off, is why we just got through talking about there wasn't a whole bunch of ports and stuff like that in that area. To the level of other places that, you know, in history talk about ports and point of entry for a whole bunch of things. So Point Comfort, you know what I mean, 1619, right? Let's just get that down real quick, y'all, before we get out of here, y'all. Wait a second. And I got to give my honorable mention to West Virginia, because I don't really, you know, I wouldn't go there. But, you know, how to get this name, I'm going to give you that before we slide. And outside of that, we out of there after that. So Point Comfort today, also known as Old Point Comfort, is Fort Monroe National Monument, right? You know what I'm saying? In the late August 1619, the English privateer, which is tied to the White Lion, didn't Obama just do that movie with the leave the world behind?
You know, the White Lion ship, yeah.
and had showed the white line. Yeah. All right. So this is carrying Africans who had been captured after the Portuguese and Spanish slavers had taken them from the kingdom of Ndongo, present-day Angola. You hear that?
Yep.
It's saying Angola. That's why on the records, they're letting you know Point Comfort is tied to people that came, they would say, because of what the Portuguese were already doing in this area. You know what I'm saying? With the Spanish. And who the White Lion did what? It intercepted a ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Portuguese, they were what the Portuguese was on who they got it from, who these people from they talking about. So that would be Angola on records. You can't find the term Guinea and Angola within the records. You see what I'm saying? But they're not using the word African either. That's a port, since we're talking about a port. Angola was a port. That's why they gave the people that name. So again, the event is documented in a letter written by written by John Roloff. The same dude they say married Pocahontas.
Yeah. Rolfe.
Rolfe.
I think it's Rolfe.
The Rolfe dude. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that's actually talking about the 20 and odd Negroes, which the government of Cape Merchant bought for victuals. You know what I mean? So this is the earliest known English record of Angolans, as they say today, Africans, being sold into Virginia colony. So why Point Comfort? Was the entrance of James River and served as a strategic military and trading post protecting access to Jamestown. So King James, Point Comfort, all that connection is all tied to Virginia. 20 odd Negroes, Pocahontas, John Rolfe was supposed to be married to her. He's the one talking about the 20. He's the one writing about it. That today, the 1619 project is, I guess, and everybody black in America are saying that their ancestors came through Point Comfort, huh?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, them boys, they say them boys was indentured.
Right, because one of the dudes that got off there became a slaveholder. Remember?
Yeah, so the story never matches up to what they say. Because so if these supposed to be the 20 and odd Negroes and African slaves and perpetual, chattel slave, how the hell did none of them was chattel slaves? At this early time, this 1619, so anything come off that boat supposed to be a chattel slave, ain't it? 1619, it's supposed to be when it's popular.
It would have to be somehow or another, non-Christians.
I'm just saying.
You can say
but
that.
Then they can easily in 1619. Guess what? 1619. What we just said. Guess what you can do? Oh, you said I could not be a slave. I say I'm Christian. Well, I sign up.
Well, right. I'm gonna become a Christian.
Done. Next.
Yeah. Maranatha, man.
Yeah. You said we pray well. Yeah.
Okay, let me. I'll see you there then, ain't it?
You feel me? Come on, man. The average human, that's what they gonna do.
Hey, some people
keep it above.
Man. Hey, and today we have the power to use it because of the First Amendment. And we don't even use it the right way now because we so caught up in the dogmatic parts of this. But again, hey man, my last joint for the night though is the West Virginia joint because I ain't gonna, I didn't want to read it, so I got a quick little video for it, and that's my last joint for the night before we get out of here because I ain't gonna cover West Virginia, but I ain't got time. Yesterday, I ain't doing West Virginia. I ain't gonna lie because I'm gonna tell you why right now. You see what I'm saying? Whenever you ready.
Yeah, I'm about to bring it up. Oh damn! Can you hear it?
I can't hear it. See, I was just getting ready to come back.
No, it could be me. I could have messed up this time. Hold on. I don't know if I shared. When you share the screen, you got to share the audio of the screen at the same time. I don't know if I did or not. Let me double check. All right, now. All right, let's see.
Did you know why the United States has two Virginias? In the past, they used to be whole. It was one of the very first English colonies, and later joined the U.S. as a single state called Virginia. But what happened? Everything changed during the Civil War, when the country was split into two opposing sides, the North and the South. In 1861, Virginia decided to leave the Union and join the Confederacy in the South. However, many people in the northwest part of Virginia remained loyal to the Union and refused to secede. This was because the West was mainly made up of small family farms, while the East was full of large plantations. In addition, Virginia's government was largely controlled by the U.S. Congress to join the Union as a new state. Finally, June 20th, 1863, West Virginia was the 30th state in the United States. Even after the war ended, it chose to remain independent. Did you know?
War, bro. Say what now? Damn, he breaking up on my side. It might be. Is it me? Can you hear me clearly?
Let me see something. I can hear you though.
I can hear you good now.
Okay, yeah.
But you was
it was just lagging.
Okay.
I was saying that Civil War changed everything, bro.
Yeah, that's how West Virginia becomes West Virginia. So that's why I ain't gonna cover. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else really. We think about it. West Virginia is just
it's real simple.
It's that simple. So
yeah,
that's it. I ain't really gonna cover no West Virginia. So when y'all, no offense to y'all West Virginians today, but y'all Virginians, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So you know what I mean? He was in the Matrix, right? Yeah, I knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you good now though. You know what I mean? But I think Scott, he talking about the San Batista and the White Lion. He was just talking about that.
I don't know. I think he was.
Before we go,
I don't know what he was talking about.
I probably was talking about some. I think he's talking about the San Batista. I'm trying to hold on. Let me go back and look what he said here. Put it in the chat again, God. What you just said. I'm trying to see real quick.
And I also don't know if he was talking to us or not.
Oh, okay, you're right. I might be tripping. I might be definitely tripping. You hear me? I'm like, hold on, merging. Okay, but yeah, the San Juan Batista that he did put in the chat though is obviously was the Portuguese slave ship from which many, it says obviously Africans who reached Virginia in 1619 were taken. You know what I'm saying? 1619, the San Juan Batista departed Luanda in the Portuguese Angola, carrying about 350 captive Africans, most from the kingdom of Indogo, right? So during the voyage, English privateer, White Lion, and treasurer attacked the ship in the Gulf of Mexico, Bay of Campeche, and seized approximately 50 to 60 captives. The White Lion brought about 20 and odd Negroes to Point Comfort. You see what I'm saying? So that's just how that lay out. The Portuguese were the first West Africa in the first place. So
yeah, that's a fact.
Europeans. So you had that contract. Who had the contract first? The Asiento. Them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who gave the English who gave King Charles II, the Asiento de Negro? The Portuguese, right?
Yeah, it's Portuguese contract. Mm-hmm.
So, man, y'all listen. Every time I think about it, boy, it gets so. All this right here, I know we worry about it because it's part of our heritage and tied to what happened to us in America. No matter where you come from, you know what I mean. You American today, though. You heard me?
Yeah.
So on some maroon shit, that's how I say it. I'm blunt. I want no pre-proposed things in front of my name. You heard me? It's straight up. We American. Oh, and behind it, I'll let you know I'm a maroon, though, autonomously speaking. You know what I'm saying? But
because of what happened here, we've been marooned.
We've been marooned. You know what I mean? That's the loosely. We definitely have absolutely been marooned in a land that we should have our founding situation in this thing because of the fact that I was talking to my people today and my cousin and shit. We was chopping it up and we like the patents and all the things that we made it through, how we went through Jim Crow and all this other stuff after the fact too, and still have more patents than any other ethnic group called Black folk in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud to be an American still, because we done been through some things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we ain't roaches either. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, man, I hope y'all had enjoyed the service. You know what I'm saying? For the Sunday service, obviously going state to state. Actually, when we come back though, we're gonna be talking about buying back the block. You know what I'm saying? We got some guests. If everything lines up the way it's supposed to be, you know, we got a nice little panel discussion about, you know, buying back the block. You know what I'm saying? Get us ready, going back into that fall season of conversation of things, economics and politics involved. You heard me? But obviously buying back the block autonomously. You heard me? We're gonna try to show you how to do it. You heard me? Show you how to do this, son. Got that from Jay-Z's clips all over the place. You know, he cut his hair off. You seen that, y'all? Jay-Z.
Yeah, I seen that.
He went back to the Caesar. All right. But either way, y'all. Till next week, man. Wait, not next week. Matter of fact, too, give a shout out to Monte, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's Earth Strong next weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
No show next weekend. Gonna be out of town celebrating life. You hear me?
It's definitely, you know what I mean? So shout out to Monte. We gonna be chopping it up on that. But we'll see you the next week, and after that, you know, we got some stuff lined up for you going into August. You know what I mean? Everything like that. And then we hope everybody likes, subscribe, and share. You know what I'm saying? Tell a friend, bring a friend type of thing. And again, the harsh reality is live life autonomously, you heard? Till next time. Peace.
No, y'all.
So who needs it and why? 75% of Americans currently do not have an estate plan. So who needs it and why? If you're over 18 and you don't know the answer to one of these questions, then it's probably you. So adults, who can make healthcare decisions for you if something were to happen today? Do you have the right set of documents to make sure your loved ones can be present for you? Parents, do you have the right set of guardianship documents to make sure that your children can be under the care of someone that you trust and that knows them, that cares for them and has their best interests at heart? Homeowners, would your family face probate if something were to happen to you today? Would you not rather make sure they don't face the delays, costs, and public nature of this court process? If any of these apply to you, here at Trustee Friend, we have simple planning options, whether you opt for a guided by a friend, guided by a planner, or guided by attorney option, making estate planning simple, affordable, and accessible to everybody. Don't believe me? Reach out to us today.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
They cut the story into pieces. Told us pick one. They gave me a color, said live inside this. Found my name down, made it fit in their system. Whole bloodline got trimmed to a sentence. Now I'm looking in the mirror like something been missing. Got rivers in me, they never mapped out. Got names in my bones, they never let out. Every time I felt different, I was dead right. They just buried the truth under headlines. Split me up, then they labeled it clarity. Now we fighting over fragments of identity. If I'm everything, why they narrow me? I'm putting all my pieces back deliberately. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. Yeah. Feel that? That ain't confusion. That's memory. We We've been walking around edited versions, whole identity stuck behind curtains. Took the depth and traded it for surface. Now we searching for worth and what they purchased. But I feel it when the rhythm hit different, like my body recognize what's been hidden. Certain sounds make my spirit sit up like you've been here before. I can't forget it. They simplified us just to manage the narrative, turned inheritance into comparison. But the truth don't break under pressure. It just wait for the right ones to carry it. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Yeah. I'm a blend that couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. I don't gotta choose a side, I don't gotta cut my ties. Every line inside me mine. Yeah. I'm the sum, not the fraction. I'm the truth past the caption. On my blood in alignment. Say it plain. We not one note, we harmony. Now I move like I carry an archive. Every step got a past that survive. I ain't searching for self in they boxes. I rebuilt it from what they tried to hide. So when I speak, it's layered intention. Not just pain, it's full dimension. We don't need their permission. We remember, that's the mission. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Don't dilute me. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me old. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. They told us pick one. We picked all of it. That's power.
Am I feeling
Count me once, yeah. Count me twice, yeah. Still can't cage what the soul ignites. Lines and ledgers, pens and promises,
But the people still pay the price.
yeah.
They'll trace your name, not your need. They'll quote your pain, not your creed. Say sorry with a seal and a grin. But the check don't cash when the truth too thin. We the proof they can't erase. Still singing freedom face to face. They gave us forms, we gave them faith. But baby, faith don't feel no safe. Recognition
Without redemption, another law with no dimension. They say we heal cause we listed, but the promise still missing.
Count me once, count me twice. Still I rise past every line. You can't free me with your pen when the ink's still soaked in sin. Count me once, count me twice. We the choir they tried to divide. You can't buy back what we bled. Freedom don't live in your lead.
72 to 24. That's not math. That's a war. They cracked the block, packed the door, then told us equal. We seen this before. The 15 said vote, the 14 said own. But ownership died when they claimed it wrong. Now the gavel got a southern tone, and every count cut to the bone. We the light, we the truth. Measure but never invite. They don't lift us, they list us.
But the list don't love us like the Lord does. Still I rise. You can't free me with your pen when the ink's still soaked in sin.